Coming up on this program, we show you how to get connected. Find out how to choose an internet service provider. Discover the newest form of communication, electronic mail.
Ways down and ready to ride. One by one, billion by billion, been holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing, if you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a
Jonathan's listening. I'm coughing. Oh, the coffee is hot and the tea is hotter. You won the motion. You're so intimidated, but you want to throw up. Then he texted you 4 rants. Oh my God. Do you want me to dramatically read them? Would that be inappropriate? Probably. But what I will say is, don't worry. When I broke up with, the story can't be told without it being told, but let's just say there was a time when I was married and we wore rings, and when that marriage ended, and as adults, I'm an adult, when you end a relationship, he threw his ring out into like the vast abyss of the front yard, and it was never found. And I just like laughed. I was like, are you stupid? Oh my God. Anyways, so sometimes people are babies. Let's say that. Whose birthday is it today? Other than Jules over on Credence and Mikey, is it Shane? Is it your birthday? Oh, I had my ring. I sold my ring. I needed to for money. But I knew it was Shane's birthday. Well, Shane, I'll sing to you in a minute after I'm finished my coughing fit. I'm so glad that everybody's here, though. Jonathan's listening. And Jonathan, you said that at the exact right moment, because my stream software hadn't kicked in yet, and I was like, oh God, let there be a sign that there are people here. And then Jonathan pops in with, I'm listening. It was like a sign from above. Thank you. We are going to watch some, I just popped, hi D-Man. What's going on? We're having coffee. We're watching court. We're doing all the things. My coffee is hot and I like it. That's the way, she likes it. And it's Shane's birthday, so we're going to sing to him in a moment. Once we get going a little bit on this case, we have to slow it down because I recorded it in 2x. But it's in Texas. Dad is there, but he's off the screen. Mom is there on the screen. They're going to be throwing accusations back and forth at one another, just the way we like it. That's right.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Barron, are you the mother of Grace, the child who is the subject of this suit?
Yes, sir.
And how old is Grace?
She is 13. She's about to be 14.
Okay, when will she turn 14?
July 16th.
Okay. And who is Grace's father?
Christopher Barron.
Are you currently married to Christopher Barron?
Yes.
And how long were you, or let me phrase it this way, when did you get married to Christopher Barron?
August of 2010.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, Ms. Barron?
August of 2010?
Okay, so August of 2010?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you were married when Grace was born then?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Okay. And you've been separated from Mr. Barron now for how long?
2 years since June of 2023.
Okay. And Grace is living with you right now, is that correct?
Sir.
Does Mr. Barron visit with Grace?
They visit over the telephone, and he has seen her once in the last 6 months for about an hour.
Okay. Now, I think I've explained to you, or have I explained to you what a standard possession order is like?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that a standard possession order would be appropriate in your circumstances for Mr. Barron to have visitation with Grace?
Okay, you're talking about visitation, not custodial, the custodial thing we talked about.
No, I'm not talking about conservatorship just yet. I'm just
Okay,
talking about
okay.
visitation.
Yes, standard visitation would be fine. My only concern is whether or not Grace has to be forced to go if she does not want to go when it is a scheduled visitation with her dad.
Red flag. Can somebody say red flag? Why would you think that would happen? Why would you start all of that? I don't understand. Unless y'all be fighting, and it sounds like maybe you are. Guess what? Kids don't get a choice, and when there's no, like, bullshit, they just go with the parents.
Okay. So you don't want to force her to go, even if it's his weekend.
Exactly.
But other than that,
Exactly.
you're fine with the visitation schedule in general.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And let's go ahead and talk about conservatorship, since you brought it up. Since conservatorship essentially is about making decisions, would you like to make all the decisions for Grace, deciding where she goes to school, directing her religious education, making medical decisions, or do you want to share those decisions with Mr. Barron?
No, those should be my decisions alone.
Okay, and why do you feel like you should be the only one to make decisions when you're both parents of Grace?
Because I'm the one who's raising her.
Okay. Okay. You don't have any concerns for Grace's safety or anything like that?
As far as her visitation, that would be, is that what you mean? Or
In any sense you take it, feel free to answer.
okay. Well, and also as far as like the standard visitation deal, I know that sometimes it's like a month in the summer or 2 weeks, whatever. We do have I do have issues with that. When I talked to you alone, I did let you know that she's going into an environment that we are not aware of. We don't know what that environment is like. As I mentioned before, a couple of years ago, right before our separation, a CPS case was opened against Chris for physically assaulting his son. I had to supervise visits between he and his son, and it kind of makes me nervous that my daughter would be in his possession for that long of a time. And being so far away, they're 14 hours away from Texas where we live. So that's concerning to me. Also, Gracie not being comfortable for the same reasons, going into an environment where she doesn't know any of these people. He's moved in with this person and I believe members of her family. And Gracie's just not comfortable being in that position with people that she doesn't know.
Mac, you're making me laugh. Oh, you're making me laugh. Calling what the judge is listening to in her headphones. I think it's hilarious. Thank you to everybody who's just come in. Please hit that like button. Tell Shane happy birthday. It's his birthday. We're going to sing to him in a minute. And if it's your birthday, happy birthday too. But why didn't you lead with this, ma'am? You just led with, like, the perfect world. Oh, standard visits? Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. And now you're like, oh, but he does live 14 hours away in a hovel. with randos. Is that what I'm getting? What the fuck is happening?
Yet, and I don't want to force her to have to go into that environment. Like I told you, Grace is very sheltered. We live in a very small town. The environment that we're in is very calm, very safe. There's not um, alcohol, there's not drugs, there's not any of that. I don't know where Chris is at. I know he is a recovering addict. I don't think he's returned to that lifestyle.
Oh my gosh, I feel like it's like a little bit of a reunion day for us. Look who's beautiful. Looks who's beautiful. You're beautiful, MB. I don't know. I didn't know what day it was for a second. I can't remember if you're back from your trip, if you're still on your trip. I want to just know if you're good. We love you. And hi, Christopher. I saw you come in as well. It's today. That's right. It's today. Today is my Sunday when I have to go back and do one shift, I guess. I don't know. I have to work tonight. You got back at 1:30 a.m. Oh, damn, MB. Okay. And Carla's here from work. Shh. Carla's working. I'm working too, technically. Thank you, MB, by the way. Bill's here as well. I love it. It's today, but it is Wednesday, right? I work it. I work. Mikey. I said I work, and I'm working.
But we don't know anything about the environment that he's living in or what environment I'm going to be sending my daughter into.
Okay. Now you referred to Mr. Barron living 14 hours away. Do you know about where Mr. Barron is living right now?
Last I heard, he is in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Okay. So he's in another state.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. 2 days before he left, he let his daughter know he was moving 14 hours away.
And you referred to an incident where between Mr. Barron and his son. How old was his son at that time?
I believe he was 13 or 14.
And do you know where his son is now?
His son actually was living with me up until the end of May when the school year finished. His father was supposed to come and pick him up when school was out, and he did not show up. So Zevin has moved in with a friend of his. I had gone to pick him up where he was living previously, which was with an aunt, because when Chris left, he just left by himself. He left both of the children, Grace, of course, with me. His son, he left with his sister in Dallas. He ended up breaking some rules over there with drugs and alcohol, so he could no longer stay there. They called his dad to go get him, and he said he couldn't because he didn't have anywhere for him to go. So they called me, and I went to go get him. And so he lived with me from that point up until school finished. A couple of weeks before school finished, he broke some rules regarding drugs and bringing drugs into the house. So I called his dad and told his dad that he was going to have to leave as soon as school was over. At the end of May, his dad was supposed to come and get him and did not come. So Zevin is still here in Spur, but has moved in with a friend of his. I believe Chris made arrangements to come and pick him up this weekend, but at last he told my daughter that he was not going to be able to come again. So Zevin is still living here in Spur.
And you said he was 13 or 14 at the time. And how old is he now?
He is 17.
17. Did he graduate from high school?
No, he still has a year left of school. He stayed here till he finished his junior year of high school.
Okay, so now I'm confused because why did he leave? Your position would be so much greater right now, ma'am, if you were like, yeah, I have both his fucking kids at my house and he don't pay me no money. I will railroad right into him if you say that. But it sounds to me like somehow this 17-year-old fucking left your house and ain't living there, and that's concerning. You know what's not concerning? Christopher sending gifts. Giving a gift to Sherry on Shane's birthday. Thank you, Christopher Engelby. But that's really sad. Why? I don't understand. Also, I think his name is Zevin, not Seven. Because he brought kids into the house. Yeah, kids will do things. You have to parent them. That's sort of the deal. Even when it's like actually, especially when they're in high school, it's like the implicit deal. You have to.
And then in the time that we were separated, when Zevin moved with his dad, because they left the house, there were incidents where Zevin called the police because he was fearful. His dad had pulled a knife on him. And these are things that just make it very hard for me to want to, like I told you, I, in my heart of hearts, don't believe that he would ever do anything like that with our daughter. But at the same time, I never would have thought he would have done those things with his son.
And I just want to be sure of his situation because he's still a minor. Is there an adult taking care of him right now, or is he living with an adult?
Yes, he's living with an adult and his girlfriend. And I see him, he works at like I told you, we're in a very small.
An adult of his girlfriend? There's my adult support for June. Thank you, Christopher. Oh, it's Jules. It's your birthday too. We have 2 birthdays. It's Jules's birthday and Shane's birthday. If you stick around to the end, Jules, I'm gonna sing. But hold on. Is the adult the girlfriend, or is it an adult of the girlfriend? It is so critical here to get this right, and I am only finishing my first cup of coffee. This is all fucked up.
Town. He works at the grocery store here in town. So I still see him. Just the drugs, we had an agreement that there would be no drugs or alcohol, and he brought drugs into our home, and that's not something I could support. So like I said, the arrangement was that his dad was supposed to be here to pick him up, and then his dad didn't show up.
Just so we're clear on his status, he's Mr. Barron's biological child, but he's not your biological child?
He is not my biological child. He is my stepson, but I have helped raise him since he was 3. When Chris and I got together, I encouraged him to get custody of 3 of his 4 children because they were not in a good environment with their biological mother. So we got custody of those children and raised them together.
All right. What kind of health insurance does Grace have right now?
Right now, she's covered under my policies. She's got medical, dental, and vision.
Okay. And I believe when we spoke earlier, you said it's a kind of plan where whether you have 1 child or 10 children, it's all the same cost. Is that correct?
Exactly. $138.74 is the amount for 1 dependent or 5 dependents. So that's what I pay right now for Grace and my other daughter. When my other daughter ages off in December, I will still be paying $138.74 for Gracie's portion.
Okay, and that's 138.74. How frequently?
That's per month.
138 a month?
On what plan, ma'am? Drop the fucking deets. $138.74 a month for 5 children? Is this one of those plans, though, where you're like, I have health insurance, and then they don't actually pay for anything? I've heard about those. I'm confused. My Canadian brain can't comprehend. Je ne comprends.
Is that what we figured? Yes, no, a pay period. I'm sorry.
Okay. And your pay periods are how often?
The 1st and the 15th.
1st and the 15th. Okay.
If Chris would agree to pay the total dependent amount, then what I would be fine with that. But if he's wanting that dependent amount to be split in two, then he would need to get her added to his own policy and then send me that information since he is legally responsible for medical coverage.
Okay. So that's the total amount that you're paying right now. Is that correct? Is the
The-
130,
No, the total amount that I'm paying now is $301.98.
301.98 a month? Okay.
Yes,
That's per month, basically twice a month. Is that right? Or you're paying it twice a month, but it's 301.98 total per month.
total per month.
I'm confusing myself here.
Yes, it's 301.98 for the entire month.
Just split in half.
Yes,
Okay.
and so split.
What was that noise? We have to go back and listen to that again. Seriously, what was that noise? Brutal Bob, did you hear that? We have to go back and analyze it. You know, 301, not as good a deal, but still for 5 kids. That's my phone. Still for 5 kids. You know, do you want to guess who that is texting me? Does anybody want to guess? I have a bit of a stalker. We've talked about it a few times.
Twice a month. Is that right? Or you're paying it twice a month, but it's 301.98 total per month.
Total per month.
I'm confusing myself here.
Yes, it's 301.98 for the entire month.
Just split in half.
Yes.
What was that noise? No, it's fucking Temu. Okay? It's Temu. Sometimes I accidentally click on the app and then the text messages increase. Like they can see I've been in there and they're like, oh, she's close, she's close, she's close. Let's continue to edge her with thousands of products and messages. And 19 months. Amazing. Cellulite Yoga Pants, I love you. No, I receive lots of messages from lots of people and I enjoy those. Those are not stalking messages. It's Temu who stalks me. They do. They really do. And they broke my trust. They're always lying. This is almost gone. We're never going to have it again. The price is going to change. Here's a countdown timer. No.
And so split in half, it's the 163.20. I'm sorry, the 134.74.
Okay. All right.
I am so sorry. None of these figures are adding up for me.
Yeah,
Are you
it's-
including the dental support in that calculation?
No,
Okay.
that's just the medical.
All right. We're gonna have to get clearer then, because I got 138.74. I've got 301.98. I need some clarification.
Okay. 301.98 is what I pay per month. That's for employee and children. So from
Okay,
the
so
three,
just the children.
so just the children is 138.74 per month.
Per pay period.
No, per month.
Yeah. So the cost of insurance just for you was how much?
163.24 a
Okay.
month.
So if we subtract the 163.24 for you from that 301, that's how we get the 138.74.
Exactly.
Okay. And how many
Exactly.
children are covered right now under that 138.74?
2, Grace, and then my oldest daughter, Danny, who will age off of the policy in December.
Okay. Gotcha.
And I
And-
did have Chris's 2 other sons covered, but because he was fighting on how much he had to pay, and how it was going to be divided, I took them off the policy.
Okay, that tells me all I need to know about her. She's a cunt. You do not fuck with children's health care because you don't agree with how he was. Also, wellness check on MB. Wellness check on MB. But that, I'm serious. That's just telling me she's a bit of a cunt. You know? You don't do that. You get such high ground when you come to court and you're like, yeah, I've been covering all his kids. I've been doing all this. When you say I canceled it because we had a fight about it, you go so low in my book. Ew. Gross. That's so gross.
And you referred a moment ago to dental insurance too. You have dental coverage for Grace.
Yes, we have dental and vision on the same policy. And that coverage is
And remember, it was free for those kids. Didn't cost anything.
$26.30 per month.
Did she not just boast about that? Hold on, that's bothering me. She just boasted about how it doesn't cost anything for 1 kid to 10 kids. If I have 5 kids on there, it's the same price. And these are your legal stepchildren because you're still fucking married. Ew.
Is that part of the 130?
Hold on,
Mr.
Mr.
Barron.
Barron, hold on. You're gonna get opportunity here in a minute.
Okay, I'm
Please don't
sorry.
interrupt us right now.
I apologize. I was told that I could ask questions.
I'll tell you when you can.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. And that 2630, that's billed separately from the health insurance that we were just talking about. Is that correct?
Exactly, yes, because we have a different policy holder for our dental and our vision.
Okay. And how many people are covered by that 2630?
On that policy is actually myself, Chris is still covered under that policy. I can't drop him until we're legally divorced through
Okay.
that particular policy holder. So it's myself, Chris, Grace, and Danny. So 4.
Okay. All right. Now you understand that one of the reasons that we're here is to set child support going forward. Did you also want to request retroactive support? And that would be support going back to the date of your separation.
Yes.
You said you separated in June of 2023.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Since June of 2023, has Mr. Barron sent you any money or supplies, anything like that to help out with Grace?
Yes.
Okay, if you had to total it all up and put a dollar value on all of the support that he's given to you since June of 2023, how much support has he given you?
I actually have it documented here. Let me find this paper. $940 in 2.5 years.
940.
Yes, sir.
Well, you said 2.5, but we're pretty solidly at 2 years.
2, I'm sorry. Yes, correct. 2 years.
Okay.
You're right.
Just wanted to
It's
make sure we're
exactly 2
talking about
years.
the same time. Same
Yes.
time frame. Were you jumping ahead to December when the children?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. All right. And you referred when we were talking earlier to some medical bills that you've incurred for Grace since the two of you separated. What kind of medical bills do you have for Grace?
I have a bill where I had to take her to the emergency room because we thought she had broken her foot. So I got a bill for $607. And then I am still paying for her orthodontics. So, and we still have a balance on her orthodontics of $800. That balance was $3,000 and I've paid it down to $865.
Okay. And did she undergo the orthodontics before you separated?
Um,
After?
no, she had them on while we were married, while we were still together.
Okay. All right. Okay. And is there anything else that you feel like the judge needs to know about your situation?
Um, just, I didn't know about how the percentage that you were basing the child support on, because you said you had considered the fact that he still has a dependent child, but that dependent child does not live with him. So I was curious as to him getting credit for having a dependent to support that is he's not supporting. That was, I mean, in fact, most recently just living with me.
Okay. And that's the son that you're referring to,
Yes, yes.
graduated from high school?
No, he is
Or-
not graduated.
I'm sorry,
He's
I meant,
he's a junior.
right, you were supposed to pick him up when school ended, but
Yes.
so he's still got 1 year of schooling to go.
Yes, but he has not been living with his dad.
Do you know if there is a child support order in place for that child?
From who?
No,
From who? And ma'am? What is a junior? Is that a grade 11? Or grade 10? I don't know. We don't do that. We do grade 11.
there's not.
Mr. Barron.
Hold on, Mr. Barron.
No, when we got custody of Zevin from his biological mother, we did not pursue child support for any of the children.
You can't use that we and then abandon that child, man. What you just included yourself. So when you get mad that he's not supporting that child, neither are you. What is going on in this case? I'm worried about Zevin. Seems like Grace is taken care of. Lisa's got that covered, but who the fuck's watching out for Zevin?
Okay. And as
And
far
I
as you
didn't
know,
pursue child support for Zevin because he's not my biological child.
okay,
And he only lived with me for a couple of months. But my main, I guess, inquiry is just the fact that he's getting credit for supporting a child that he's not supporting.
so for the best of your knowledge, then, was that child, and what is that child's name? That might help us.
Zevin.
Zevin,
His name is
okay.
Zevin. Yes.
Zevin. Were Zevin's mother's rights terminated as to Zevin?
No.
Okay. All right, but but Zevin's not living with her.
No.
Rose, I wish I could record it, but I can't. Because I'm live, so I can't record more court. Also, I'm a hoarder. I hoard court. It's a problem. I recognize it, but I do it every single day still. I have an addiction. Thank you for helping me.
No, Zevin hasn't lived with her since he was 3,
Okay,
when we got custody of him.
all right. Okay, I'll pass the witness, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Barron, you're going to get opportunity to testify in a few minutes if you want to refute any information that Ms. Barron has testified to. However, this is your opportunity to ask her questions about what she's testified to. Your questions need to be in the form of a question: who, what, when,
Okay.
where. So this is your opportunity to ask Ms. Barron questions. You may proceed.
Okay, I was just curious as far as the dental and vision. I didn't know if that was part of the medical insurance figure or if that was in addition to. And it really makes
Hold
no
on, hold on.
difference.
Hold on. Let her answer that question.
Okay.
That is in addition to the 138.74 is only medical insurance. The dental and vision is a different policy, and so that's paid separately.
Any other questions, Mr. Barron?
No, that's it.
Okay. I have a couple of questions, Ms. Barron. You said that the child was in braces when you and Mr. Barron were together. Did you set up a payment plan for those braces?
Yes, through Wentworth Orthodontics.
And so has Mr. Barron contributed to any of those payments since you've been separated over the last 24 months?
He has not.
And what are the payments that you have to pay
One,
on a monthly basis?
125.
Okay. That $26.30, you said that 4 people were covered under that. Is that a combined total for the dental and the vision or
Yes,
just
ma'am.
dental? Okay,
No, that's both together.
all right. Okay, Mr. Boucher?
All right, Your Honor, I call Christopher Barron.
Mr. Barron, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you provide in this matter will be the
Well, Christopher, I would have put you in the thumbnail, but I didn't see that you were in this. But now we'll give you your moment in the light. Is that a puka necklace? What is that necklace? Is that from the early 2000s? I almost thought we had a popped collar there for a second. What is going on here? I believe he is in the passenger side of a vehicle. Hopefully. We'll see if it's moving.
truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Are you driving or are you a passenger?
I'm a passenger.
Okay, you can lower your hand. You may proceed, Mr. Boucher.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Barron, you are the father of Grace, is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And you heard Ms. Barron's testimony about the visitation. Do you believe that a standard possession order would work for your circumstances for your visitation with Grace?
I do.
Okay. And you do live a considerable distance apart. I think the figure was something like 14 hours travel. So the
Yeah,
standard possession
exactly.
order would only call for 1 weekend a month. But that's what you want, what you feel like is appropriate.
Well, I mean, appropriate given the fact that it would be Gracie's decision based on what her schedule consists of and just kind of what she feels comfortable in doing. I wouldn't enforce it unless we had to, but it would still fall on Grace's decision on when and how often to visit. I would just like it in place just in case I'm prevented any kind of contact or visitation.
Okay. And we've heard just the briefest bit about your current living situation. So you're living with someone else right now, is that correct?
That's correct. And I could rebut everything that was testified to kind of give the judge an idea of why
Okay.
circumstances are the way they are.
Okay,
Or-
well, I just wanted to kind of get an overview of your current living situation. So how many people are living in the residence that you're living in right now?
One other person.
Just one other person?
Yes.
How big is the place that you're living?
It is, I believe, a 3-bedroom.
Okay, so if Grace were to visit, she would have her own bedroom?
Correct.
Okay. And the other person that you're living with is not a minor, is that correct? Not a child that you're caring
Sure.
for or anything?
Correct.
Okay. All right. And we heard that you have one other biological child who's still below the age of 18, is that correct?
Yes, and that is Bevan.
Okay. And are you providing support for Zevin right now?
Yes.
Okay. Who's the party who has custody of Zevin?
He's with a coworker right now. He asked me to stay so he could work at the grocery store where he was working at for a couple of months to save some money. So he's staying with him, one of his supervisors, I believe. Not his overall supervisor, but one of his shift managers.
Okay. But is there a
I'm sorry, go ahead.
is there a court order in place where you're to pay?
No.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, where I pay what?
Where you pay child support or provide medical support for Zevin?
No, it's just based on kind of his needed thing. Let's make sure that he has what he needs.
Okay. So what's the situation with Zevin's mother? We heard a moment ago that we don't believe her
Right.
rights were terminated, but she's
Th-
been very uninvolved in his life. So what's the situation there?
That's correct. She actually left the marriage when Zevin was 8 months and hasn't contributed anything financially or even physically. She's called maybe a handful of times throughout the years on his birthday or maybe Christmas, but she has not even. I think she may have visited once, but
Okay.
that's been the extent of it. I never pursued anything. I know that the whole purpose of her being out of the picture was she's an addict and she didn't want to be a mom or a wife, so she left and kind of pursued that lifestyle. And
Okay.
so
I'm
I knew
sorry.
she wasn't prepared or able to pay anything, and I was fine with not having any contact. I felt like if she did start showing support, that she would demand some kind of visitation, and she wasn't in a place where that would have been safe.
Okay. So just what I want to get across now is while you and Ms. Barron were married and living together, Zevin was living with the two of you. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And after the two of you separated, what happened to Zevin?
He had asked to. He didn't want to stay there in that area. We were living in a different different town, and so he asked if he could stay with my sister, and he was there for a little bit, and he started. I think he started vaping. My sister vapes, and so does her husband, and he took one of their vapes, and that was a game changer for him. So they didn't reach out to me. They actually just reached out to Lisa, and Zebin went back to Spur. I didn't object to him going back to Spur because he said he had problems with the schooling.
Sorry, Vicky, we're gonna have to kick you out because you vaped. Speaking of vapes, I need to charge my vape so that I have it. What the fuck, people? This is not. You don't kick people out for vaping, and they didn't even say weed. I'm implying weed, but they could literally be meaning tobacco. You know how many kids started smoking before they were? Oh my Jesus.
In Dallas where my sister lived, and so I thought that maybe if he went back to that area, school would be fine, and he thought so as well. So we both agreed that he would finish the school year back in Spur, and then that he would move with me at the end of the
Okay.
school year. So that's what
Okay.
we had discussed.
Okay. Complicated situation, it sounds like, but there are
Yeah,
no orders in place regarding Zevin as far as support or
support,
conservatorship or anything. Is that correct?
correct.
Okay. All right. And a moment ago, you heard Ms. Barron talking about the conservatorship regarding Grace, that she wants to be the sole managing conservator, make all the decisions for Grace. Do you agree with that, or do you want to also be a joint
I
managing
don't agree.
conservator?
I would like to be joint managing conservator.
Okay, so you want to be involved in making decisions for Grace for her benefit?
Yes, for her benefit. Yes.
Okay, and you understand that's a little difficult when you're living that far away, but you still want to be involved.
I understand, but I want to be involved as much as I can. I'm gonna leave. Gracie is about to be 14, and so as long as I'm just keep my communication open with her, I'm okay with whatever she decides. What we all kind of agree on. I just want to be part of that decision making. I don't demand that I have control over anything. Just
Right.
included is all I'm really asking.
And we heard earlier that you're living in Louisiana. Is that correct?
Correct.
Whereabouts in Louisiana? And you don't have to give an exact address, just kind of a
Yeah,
whereabouts
I'm in New Orleans.
in New Orleans. Okay.
Yeah, I got a New Orleans. Yeah, that's zip code. Yep, I'm in New Orleans.
All right. Do you have health insurance available to you through your employment that you would rather put Grace on?
I do have health insurance, but I do not feel like it would benefit Grace to put it on. I ran into a problem when I did move here because I originally purchased health insurance in Texas, that I needed to have, I didn't have coverage on my medications and very limited coverage on who I could see as far as providers. So I think adding Gracie to my medical insurance would make it harder for her to see providers and be part of a network being in Texas. So I don't think it would be a good idea to have her carried through my insurance.
Okay. And your insurance right now is through your work in Louisiana?
Correct.
All right. What kind of work do you do?
I'm a maintenance technician, and I just do maintenance work on a human services building.
Are you paid by the hour or are you paid a regular salary?
I'm paid by the hour,
How much do you make an hour?
$23.25,
And how many hours a week do you work?
40.
Okay. And just so that the judge is fully informed, the insurance plan through your work, how much would it cost to add Grace to your insurance?
I don't have that figure with me right now, so I'm not sure. I have no idea. I'd be guessing if I gave you an amount.
Okay.
I didn't even think to look at that because I thought it would be more difficult for her to seek healthcare if I did add her, but I have no idea what it would cost.
All right, Judge, I'll pass the witness.
Okay, Ms. Barron, do you have any questions of Mr. Barron about what he just testified to?
I do. You stated that you are currently financially supporting Zevin. So why have you not been financially supporting Grace?
I was waiting for an order to be in place.
Okay. As far as the insurance, adding her to your insurance, well, I don't know if this isn't really a question, but there are many divorced couples who live in different states. So there is a workaround for me being able to use his insurance for Gracie. It probably means getting referrals from a physician, but it can be done.
Okay, do you have a question, Ms. Barron?
No, that's what I said. I really don't think that was a question, but
Yeah, that's a statement. All right, so any other questions though?
No, I believe that was it.
Mr. Barron, how long have you been employed at this current position?
Since the April 1st
Of 25?
of this year, yes, April 1st of this year. It's actually March 30th.
And where were you working prior to that?
I was working, I hadn't found a job here in Louisiana. Last time I was working was in Texas in the middle of December. I moved here and I did find a job briefly, but it wasn't the right fit for me. I only worked there for 3 weeks. And so I didn't really consider it an employment.
So what date do you are you saying that you and Ms. Barron separated?
I moved out in June of 2023.
And
And
so
I have screenshots where I have sent money.
since
I'm sorry, go
June,
ahead.
since June of 2023, you've been employed until April of this year, unemployed since June of 2003 through April of
No,
25.
no. I was unemployed from December 15th of 2024 until March 30th of 2025.
So where were you working from June of 23 to December of 24?
Patton Springs and Afton, Texas.
And what were your wages there?
I'm sorry.
What were your wages?
Oh, they were $19 an hour. 1901 to be exact.
Okay. Any other questions, Mr. Bunashek?
There is one thing that I believe I forgot to go over with Mr. Barron. Mr. Barron, just to cover this base, since you separated from Ms. Barron, how much would you say you sent to her for support for Grace?
Oh, I have that in my screenshots. I don't have it. I haven't calculated it up right now. It's I believe it was 1,600. It was a little bit over the 900. I know that he's not counting a couple of months that were also in addition, but I have it itemized, and I believe it's closer to 1653, maybe. I think
Okay,
it
so,
was 55. Yeah.
okay, so you haven't totaled it up, but you believe it's around 16 or 1650?
Yes.
Okay. All right, that's it, Judge. I'll pass the witness.
Okay. Any other questions, Ms. Barron?
That figure that you're counting, are you counting the money that you sent me for your medical insurance? Because I kept you on my medical insurance up until December of 2024. And so you were paying half of the medical insurance.
It's paying 275 for medical insurance. And that's what I figured. And it's
That-
itemized that I paid.
That was not child support though.
75.
275 was not
No,
child
it was
support.
that was
Hold on.
Right.
Hold on. I'm confused
You're
about.
right. It was an addition to.
Okay. Can you repeat your question, Ms. Barron?
The figure that he's come up with, is that just child support? Or is he counting because I kept him on my medical insurance even after we separated. And so he was giving me a portion of the medical insurance.
Okay. Okay. And your answer, Mr. Barron?
That 275 a month was in addition to child support. It's itemized on my screenshots.
Okay.
You guys, I'm not
Anything else,
sure if
Mr.
anybody was paying attention, but you remember the glass straw saga and the cup that I had, my special cup, the glass one with the wooden top. If whoever guessed that I would break the cup next before I broke another straw, you win. I broke the cup yesterday. I'm very sad about it. Really sad. Now the straws are fucking terribly useless and sad.
Ms. Barron, any other questions?
No, ma'am.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Bunashek?
No further witnesses would rest.
State is rested. That means they have no further evidence, no further testimony. Ms. Barron, do you have any other testimony that you would like to share?
Yes, I do.
Okay, hold on. Let me get Ms. Barron and then I'll get you, Mr. Barron.
Okay.
All right.
So in talking about the visitation, he had made a comment that I would have to meet him halfway. Is that correct?
I haven't made that order. Are you in agreement to meet halfway?
No.
Okay. Was that your point?
I was just wondering if that was actually he had said that for visitation, because we live so far apart, that I would be required to meet him. So I wasn't sure if that's how that worked.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay, Mr. Barron, do you have any other testimony?
Yes, real quick. Just to clarify on the visitation, Zebin has been very troubled, and I've kept in contact with him. He has seen counselors in the past and has been on medication. I don't feel like
That's an updated Amazon wish list, which should work, but I I'm still in disbelief. Amazon wish lists have been frustrating for me lately, but there are cups on that wish list, and I think that's the 2025 one. If we can make a link for that. Cellulite yoga pants. Thank you.
Any environment that I'm in, as well as my daughter Grace, would be any danger to her. She has been the only child that I have 25 years of sobriety. She's been the only child that's seen me sober, and she has been someone that I would put my life in front of. I would always make sure she was protected and would have a well-being. But what I'm saying is I just want you to know that I have concern for Seven's well-being, and I am keeping in contact with him, and he will be with me, and it will be a safe environment. I've always made sure that Grace is well taken care of, and so I don't feel like she's in any danger. As far as meeting halfway, whatever is decided is what I will be doing. If we need to agree on something, I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to put Gracie's desires and what's practical in place. I can say right now, yeah, it is impractical for me to visit twice a month, but it is very cheap to drive to Dallas. And when I get financially caught up, I can fly to Dallas and make um, an attempt to see Gracie there. I feel like that would be more than halfway and more than applicable for them to meet me there. And it costs a little bit more to fly to Lubbock, but Dallas would be somewhere where I would be willing to travel to because I have other family there as well, and that I could do visitations in Dallas. As far as anything else, that whatever I need to do for the benefit of my daughter and be part of her life and just be involved in everything that she's doing. She's come to me recently saying that she didn't want to play a sport, and I like that she's telling me those things. I don't want to be out of the loop when it comes to deciding what's going on or where she's going to school or what activities that she's involved in. Then that's all. That's all I have to say.
Okay. We haven't talked about non-disclosures. Ms. Barron, do you have any issue? Does Mr. Barron know where you live?
Yes.
And do you know where Mr. Barron lives?
Not since he moved.
Okay.
He has
Do
my
you have any?
address.
Okay. Do you,
I don't have your new address.
Ms. Barron, do you have any issues with your information being disclosed by court order?
No.
Mr. Barron, do you have any issues with your information being disclosed by court order?
No.
And do you have any?
We have an issue at my house, you guys. We have an issue. Okay. I just was like, what the fuck is that sound? There's a sound coming from, and I'm alone. I should be alone. There's nobody home, but this is a definite sound. I checked the weather app. I literally did because I was like, oh, it's probably raining. So we have a skylight in the kitchen. Humble brag. And sometimes it's very loud when it rains on that. There's a fucking crow on the skylight. Just walking around, pecking at the fucking glass. Oh my god. This is crazy.
Any issues keeping Ms. Barron updated with addresses and phone numbers, employers?
No, I don't. She has my new address. It's in the text. She's asked me and she has it. I don't have no issues with that.
All right. Same with you, Ms. Barron, no issues with address, employers, things like that?
No, not at all.
All right, just checking. All right. Mr. Bunashek has rested. Both of you have had an opportunity to provide extra or additional testimony. Mr. Bunashek, close, please.
All right, Your Honor, my calculations are going to vary greatly depending on what's ordered as far as the medical insurance and the retro. I'm factoring in also the fact that Louisiana has an income tax which changed at the beginning of this year. As of January 1st, 2025, the income tax rate is a flat 3%, but it was a staggered or graduated income tax prior to that. And so I'm arriving at probably, let me see, that probably about 11,500 for the retroactive period. And that's based on the $19 an hour for 18 months that he testified to before, and then 3 months at the current rate, which I am calculating based on his income that he testified to of, 1 second, $23.25 an hour, 40 hours a week, gross monthly income of $4,030, giving credit for the income tax and with reimbursement for the medical at $69.37 and $6.58 for the dental, plus credit for $120.90 for the income tax, leaves him with a monthly net of $32.11 and 20 cents. I did not factor in the additional child because it appears there is no support order in place for supporting that child. And so the guideline percentage was 20. And based on that, I'm arriving at a guideline support amount of $642. There are a lot of assumptions in those calculations, Judge.
I got you. I appreciate them. Okay. Ms. Barron, what, the Attorney General's office has stated basically the financial part of what they're requesting. What are you requesting?
The only like the child support, that's great. The only thing that I'm still, he mentioned doing the reimbursement on the medical insurance. And so because I don't think that that amount is, an accurate amount, I would rather he put Gracie on his insurance, that he carry medical insurance for her.
Okay. Have you always provided medical insurance, Ms. Barron?
I have,
Okay.
and I will still, and I'm not gonna drop her off my policy. She'll just have it as a secondary.
Okay. All right. Mr. Barron, what are you requesting?
Just I don't have any requests other than just to be part of the decision making conservatorship.
Okay. All right. I do find that the parties are currently married but separated. The child was born of the marriage. Mr. Barron has a duty to support and is the legal father of the child. I'm naming Ms. Barron sole managing conservator of the child with the exclusive right to determine the primary residence of the child without regard to geographic location. I'm naming Mr. Barron a possessory conservator of the child, which will allow you to get information, Mr. Barron, but in the paperwork, you will be listed as a possessory conservator. I'm ordering, I find evidence that it would be in the best interest not to order a standard possession order because there's just too many variables that are unknowns out there as to where the child would be, who the child is with, the circumstances of the child, and just the past issues with Mr. Barron and his other child. So I'm going to order the weekends of the standard possession order, which is one weekend of Mr. Barron's choosing, from 6 p.m. on Friday to 6 p.m. on Sunday. And of course, that would have to be coordinated. Mr. Barron indicated that he's not going to do anything without the agreement of Ms. Barron and the child. But that, of course, the child is at the age that would have to be coordinated with the activities that the child's involved with. am going to order that Mr. Barron provide Miss Barron 14 days notice prior to exercising that possession and access. I am also, in addition to the weekends, ordering Thursday possession from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. to be exercised electronically, either through video means or through phone, so that the child can be made available to Mr. Barron on a weekly basis. Doesn't have to be on Thursday, but needs to be on a weekly basis. At the very beginning of the possession order, it will state that both Ms. Barron and Mr. Barron can have possession at any time mutually agreed to by the parties. That means you can agree to any type of visitation and not ever look at the possession and access order that I'm ordering. As to the extended possession periods, Christmas, spring break, weekends, and that's where I'm deviating from the standard possession order, but those are to be exercised as mutually agreed to by the parties. I will order that Mr. Barron shall have possession during those periods of time, but they will be as agreed to by the parties.
So I have a question.
Just a second, I'm not finished. So,
Okay.
I'm ordering that Ms. Barron maintain the health insurance and the dental insurance through her employer. I am ordering that Mr. Barron pay cash and medical support of $138.74 monthly beginning July 1st, 2025. I am ordering Mr. Barron to pay cash dental support of $6.58 beginning July 1st, 2025. And I'm ordering current child support in the amount of $653 beginning July 1st, 2025. That is only including one child before the court. I'm not including the other child as a credit, Mr. Barron, because that child does not live with you and you're not under a court order. So that's just by the law. As far as retroactive medical support, I'm ordering $1,803.50 as of today, and ordering Mr. Barron to pay $35 per month towards that retroactive medical support beginning July 1st, 2025. Retroactive child support being assessed against Mr. Barron in the amount of $11,500 as of today, and I'm ordering Mr. Barron to pay $100 per month towards that judgment beginning July 1st, 2025. There is not going to be a non-disclosure in this order, and court costs will be assessed against Mr. Barron to be paid 1 year from today's date. Now, beginning with Mr. Bunashek. Mr. Bunashek, do you need any clarifications, and were all issues addressed?
I think you've got all my issues, Judge. I just need a couple things that I couldn't write down quite fast enough. So the medical support payment beginning July 1st.
$6.58.
Oh, that was the dental.
I'm sorry, medical $138.74.
138.74. Okay, thank you. And the payment on the retroactive medical support.
$35.
35. Okay, and the last thing that I missed was the electronic communication, the start times. It ends at 8 p.m. and what's the beginning time?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. Okay. I believe that's everything, Your Honor.
Okay, and those don't have to last the whole 2 hours. It's, that's the time that the child will be made available for Mr. Barron. But you guys can agree and they can communicate as much as they want to. I just want to make sure there's weekly communication. Okay, now Ms. Barron, any clarifications?
Yes, on the retro medical, he actually did contribute to the medical coverage from the time we were separated until December of 2024, because I still carried him on my insurance plans.
Okay, the retroactive medical support that I ordered was for the half of the doctor's bill, the emergency room, and the orthodontics.
Gotcha. Okay, sorry, I misunderstood what that was for.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Any other clarification? No?
No.
All right, Mr. Barron, clarifications?
If there's no agreement during the holiday visitations, what do I do is one question. how do
Um,
how do I come to
I
a
would probably
visitation?
arrange your weekend visitation to hit over the holiday.
Okay. And who enforces that?
And another legal action would need to be filed, not through the Attorney General's office,
Okay, like
a private attorney.
okay. Okay, and as far as what I have paid, do I get any credit for that?
Yes, sir. A credit was given for the retroactive child support, and I credited, actually, I calculated a higher figure than, so about $1,000 was credited for the retroactive support that you paid over the last 2 years.
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. Any party can ask for a new hearing on any of the issues I ruled on today by filing a trial de novo.
And Dad probably should in this case. He does not realize how serious this is. This is probably one of the cases where if you move out of state away from your child in the state of Texas, you should hire a lawyer to retain your parental rights in the most robust way possible. It is the presumption of the state of Texas that parents shall be joint managing conservatorships. I don't even think I heard her overturn this. They are still married. Which is weird to me. But I really don't know how she didn't even say that she overturned that presumption, which normally they do. They have to say, I'm overturning the presumption based upon this, because the way that it works in Texas is that they shall be joint managing conservators unless the presumption is rebutted. Do you know how you rebut that presumption? You have family violence in the last 2 years. I didn't hear anything of that. You have, like, egregious behavior, but none of that was here. He didn't even get a standard possession for parents more than 100 miles away. There's provisions in the state of Texas for this. He should file. He won't. He needs to file a trial de novo within 3 days. He needs to be specific. He needs to outline where he thinks that the trial judge erred. And he needs to serve every party. But he's not gonna, unfortunately. Let's let her finish her spiel. Then we will sing happy birthday and we will say goodbye.
With the Dickens County District Clerk's Office. It must be filed within the next 3 days. It must be in writing. It must specify the portion of my ruling in which a new hearing is being requested. And notice must go out to all of the parties on the case, including the Attorney General's office. Mr. Bunashek will draft the order that I have ordered today. He will submit it to me for signature. Once I have reviewed it and signed it, copies will go out to each of you. That concludes today's hearing, and you're free to disconnect from the Zoom meeting.
Thank you.
My camera's off. That does conclude our hearing, though, but we are going to sing happy birthday because it's Shane and Jules' birthday. If it's your birthday coming up or it's your birthday one day, I bet it will be one day. I bet it's coming up this year, if I'm not mistaken. If I remember about you. You will have a birthday this year. And if you want me to sing to you, you can come on by. If you don't want to hear me sing, this is a good time to leave. Because we will sing happy birthday. Thank you guys for being here. There won't be a show tonight from my side. I'm sure there's other things to watch on YouTube. Please be safe. I saw that Ryan Hall y'all is live. That's always scary. So yeah. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Shane and Jules. Happy birthday to you too. I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful birthday. I'm so glad you celebrated with us. And do me a favor, remember that I love you and I'm proud of you. And I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye.
Ways down, ready to
Bye.
ride.